Quavo, Takeoff, they was down here with y'all. But they seen you walking by. He's laying on the ground. You got Mike bending down, and they seen you walking by. What took place there?
This the crazy thing about that video, right? Is
hey man, yeah man, we got a little bit straightening going on.
This ain't no little industry spat. This is a full-blown war that's been bubbling under the surface, and now it's exploding in everybody's face. Mase just lit the fuse and dropped a bomb so heavy, the whole internet stopped scrolling for a second. He put out a private call between J. Prince and Takeoff, something nobody thought they'd ever hear. And now, Prince is losing it. I'm talking threats flying, scrambling for control, calling in favors, all of it. But here's the twist. Mase ain't folding. He clapped back so hard it shook the table, saying out loud what so many people been whispering for years but never dared to say with their chest. And the timing, man, it's crazy, because the streets still want real answers about what really went down with Takeoff. That night in Houston still don't add up. Missing footage, hushed up witnesses, and the same names circling over and over, J. Prince Jr. and DJ Pat. Now you add this leaked call into the mix, and it's like pouring gasoline on a fire that was already out of control. If what Mase laid out is solid, this ain't just a case of J. Prince trying to clean up his image. This could mean he's knee-deep in something darker, something that could shake the whole foundation of the empire he built. And don't forget, whispers been floating about, bail money mysteriously covered, podcast warnings thrown out like threats, and witness tweets disappearing overnight. People all over social media are coming at J. Prince hard, calling him a fake community leader, a so-called cartel-style fixer, and even accusing him of having blood on his hands. This ain't no random YouTube gossip recap. This is deeper. This takes us straight back to Takeoff's final moments, the mob ties shadow, and why Prince is suddenly looking nervous now that the wrong person is finally speaking up loud and clear. So here's how it cracked off. Mase had been chilling, keeping things low for a minute. But once Prince started throwing sneaky little subliminals on the $1 million worth of game podcast, it was over. The gloves came off and Mase wasn't about to play nice anymore. Even Cameron, who had stayed quiet about the Houston mess for months, started leaning in once Mase made it clear Prince had stepped way out of line. Now, here's the part that made the internet freeze.
This is a problem, J. Prince, and I'm gonna tell you like this: if you're 60 years old and you're trying to be a street you failed. I'm telling you this.
Mase says he heard a call where J. Prince was allegedly talking directly to Takeoff just hours before his end. And this wasn't no big brother checking in type conversation. Nah. Mase claims Prince was pressing Takeoff hard about loyalty, moving like a boss making demands instead of a mentor giving advice. This wasn't no respectful back and forth. Mase straight up said J. Prince been moving shady, pulling strings, trying to control narratives behind the curtain, and the second Takeoff stopped playing into that game, everything flipped left. And the timing, that's the part that got folks' stomachs turning, because it lines up too close to the tragedy. According to Mase, this alleged call went down the very same night Takeoff was ended outside that Houston bowling alley. A dice game turned sour, voices raised, gunshots cracked, and just like that, Takeoff was gone at only 28 years old. Once Mase spilled the details, Prince completely unraveled. He jumped online, tossing veiled threats, doubling down, and even rehashing his shade at Offset, claiming Offset wasn't there for Takeoff when he was alive. You wasn't really there with Takeoff when he was alive. You know what I mean? Prince threw those words out like daggers, and that right there sparked the Offset versus Prince feud that had Cardi B stepping in heavy to defend her man. But now, with Mase adding this private call into the story, Prince is spiraling into damage control mode. And the crazy part is, it feels way too late to fix anything, because the street's already talking, and they don't like what they're piecing together. One fan on X said it straight up. Nobody respects J. Prince after Takeoff was on his watch. And once that narrative caught fire, people started really side-eyeing mob ties and questioning the empire J. Prince built. Especially when not long after, Patrick Xavier Clark, better known as DJ Pat, got picked up and charged, making the entire picture look even messier.
And I'm gonna tell you another thing. When you're dealing with older people, they're the last to know that things have changed. We not your little Like the way you talking, I don't get what you mean. We're not your little like.
But here's the part that don't sit right with anybody. DJ Pat, the dude accused of pulling the trigger, somehow posted a $1 million bond and strolled out of jail like it was nothing. Real quick, no struggle, no delay. Like somebody with serious pull made sure he didn't sit in that cell too long. And the whispers, they point straight back to Jay Prince and the kind of power moves that get handled behind closed doors. People online ain't forgotten what's been floating around either. That Jay Prince allegedly walked right past Takeoff's body that night and coldly said, "Call that. Don't ask me none about that." If that's true, that's not just shocking, that's heartless. And then, to make things look even wilder, Jay Prince Jr. reportedly requested his name be scrubbed from DJ Pat's bond paperwork. Like, why erase your name if you had nothing to hide? That's not damage control. That's straight distancing yourself when the heat turns up. And trust, it ain't just DJ Pat in this mess. Don't forget about Cameron Joshua, aka Lil Cam Fifth, who got snatched up on unlawful weapon charges right after Takeoff's end. Guess what? He's tied to mob ties too, time and time again. Dudes connected to Jay Prince Jr. keep popping up in the middle of body bags, yet mob ties still trying to paint themselves as the victims. The streets ain't buying that narrative anymore. We already saw a big red flag when Duke the Jeweler came through Houston. He checked in with mob ties, rolled some dice, and the night ended in chaos, with his name trending for all the wrong reasons. Same script, same silence, and once again, Jay Prince's name floating in the background like a shadow nobody wants to call out. And y'all remember that clip of Jay Prince calmly telling his shotgun man to fall back? That moment felt way too coordinated, like it wasn't the first time they had a system like that in play. It's starting to look like a pattern, and people are finally saying it out loud. Invite flashy outsiders to Houston, have them check in with mob ties, host a dice game, let the vibe shift, security standing around acting lost, then boom, everything spirals. And right after, Prince pops up dropping one of those so-called wise speeches about community and brotherhood, talking about grief is the price of love. Man, miss us with the PR sermons. Where was that same community spirit when things went sideways?
You wasn't really right there with Takeoff when he was alive, you know what I mean? So.
And here's the part nobody can ignore. None of the Princes showed up to Takeoff's funeral, not one. That's beyond suspicious. People are whispering maybe there's a reason, maybe they knew their presence would raise eyebrows, maybe even bring heat straight to the front row. Meanwhile, Jay Prince Jr. is online tweeting slick lines like, "Don't wear jewelry around vultures." But if you knew the room wasn't safe, why invite Quavo and Takeoff into that energy in the first place? And let's not forget, Quavo was reportedly in a heated argument with Jay Prince Jr. right before everything went left. Now, new clips are surfacing showing Prince brushing it all off, acting like his name ain't tied up in the situation, like none of it happened under his crew's watch. Right after Jay Prince threw shade on $1 million worth of game, Mase went nuclear, straight scorched earth. He didn't just defend himself, he came for Prince's entire reputation, tearing at the image Prince has been polishing for decades. Live and direct, no sugarcoating, Mase said. "We not your little," and the way he dropped it, man, that wasn't no casual Twitter jab. That was a gut punch, raw and personal. He wasn't just speaking for himself. He was speaking for everybody who ever felt trapped by this so-called check-in game. Prince has been running like a toll booth on the culture. And here's where it got even heavier. Cameron co-signed the whole thing. He didn't step in to calm it down, didn't push back, nothing. He just sat there and let Mase cook. That silence was loud because Cam usually moves strategic, real careful with what he stamps his name on. The fact he let Mase air Prince out like that told fans he low-key agreed. Now the streets are convinced Mase had that leaked call tucked away, just waiting for the perfect moment. And when Prince got slick on that podcast, Mase pulled the trigger on his ace card. Meanwhile, all this tension kept bubbling, and Offset tried to stay quiet, at least at first. But the second Jay Prince dragged his name into the dirt, suggesting he wasn't really there for Takeoff, Offset snapped back. No holding back, no filter. And right behind him came Cardi B, loud, direct, and fearless, making it crystal clear they weren't scared of mob ties.
When you're dealing with older people, they're the last to know that things have changed. We not your little like the way you talking, I don't get what you mean. We're not your little.
That was the moment fans realized This ain't music politics anymore. Jay Prince just got blasted by a mainstream celebrity power couple, and suddenly his so-called street cred is crumbling under the brightest spotlight it's ever had. And here's the part the public doesn't always catch unless you're really watching close. Big names been backing away from Prince one by one, like they don't even want to be in the same frame with him anymore. Look at Drake. That man used to be front and center in Mob Ties mentions, always repping, always dropping love. But lately, radio silence. No reposts, no shout outs, not even a casual mention. Crazy part is, Jazz Prince is literally the guy who linked Drake to Wayne and Young Money in the first place. Yet ever since the Takeoff situation, Drake been moving like he don't know the Princes at all. That's distance with a capital D, and it don't stop there. Jay-Z been doing the same. Word floating around says Hav hasn't responded to any Mob Ties peace calls since early 2023. And y'all know how Jay operates. He don't do messy beefs. He just cuts off communication. Quiet power moves. Why? Because these guys got billion-dollar corporations riding on their name. They're not about to risk it all getting tangled in street rumors, possible federal probes, and whispers tied to Takeoff's case. Now Mase out here leaking behind-the-scenes convos, throwing receipts in the air, and suddenly there's no safe corner left for Jay Prince to hide in. The silence play don't work no more. The only reason Mob Ties even had juice in the first place was that check-in system. Fly into Houston, link with Jay Prince Jr., and supposedly you're protected. But now, that whole system looks broken. Duke the jeweler checked in and still got caught up. Takeoff checked in and still got caught up. And this right here is why nobody's checking in anymore. The very dudes demanding respect can't even protect the guests they claim to be safeguarding. Even Cali artists been speaking up, saying straight out that the whole check-in game is nothing but a setup. A trap for clout designed to let local gatekeepers flex like they run the world. And honestly, once Mase finally said out loud what everybody been whispering, that Jay Prince ain't nothing but a failed street boss pretending to be some mob kingpin, the internet couldn't unsee it. His whole mystique started crumbling in real time. But let's talk about the sketchy part. Nobody can shake. What really happened to the witnesses? That night outside, 810 billiards and bowling, there were over 40 people in that crowd. We've all seen the clips, we heard the noise, we know folks were there. So why haven't more witnesses spoken up? Word on the block is some of them got threatened into silence. That's why so many people online are accusing Mob Ties of paying folks off, making footage vanish, and making sure DJ Pat carried the whole weight alone. And then there's the theory that really hit hard. People claiming it was Jay Prince Jr. who was actually arguing with Quavo that night, while Takeoff wasn't even in the mix like that. Yet somehow Takeoff ended up caught in the crossfire, which got fans whispering, was it a slip-up or a warning shot that went left? Either way, it left way too many questions unanswered. Now here's where things could explode. Sources close to Mase and Cam's circle say there's a real chance that the call between Prince and Takeoff was recorded. Maybe by accident, maybe intentional, but either way, that audio might exist. And word is, Cam and Mase been sitting on it, allegedly waiting for Prince to make the wrong move. If that tape ever leaks, it wouldn't just expose secrets. It could flip the entire story upside down and put Mob Ties under a spotlight they can't wiggle out of. What did Prince really say to Takeoff on that call? Did he threaten him, try to push him into something he wasn't feeling, or put pressure that crossed the line? And remember, this ain't coming from some random blog or troll account. This is Mase speaking, the same man who walked away from Diddy at his peak, fought the whole industry, and came back swinging with a vengeance. If that call leaks, if the audio ever surfaces, it's game over for Jay Prince's image, point blank, because let's keep it real, that would be the true Mob Ties indictment right there. The Fed's been circling for a while, keeping their eyes wide open, and this ain't just rap fans watching anymore. Every time Prince or his son hops on camera, talking slick, tossing threats, somebody in a suit is replaying it twice and writing notes. And now with Mase speaking out, those ears just got sharper. People forget, RICO laws don't care about your legacy, your plaques, or your OG status in hip-hop. They care about alleged witness intimidation, coded threats, shady money patterns, and organized behavior that fits a criminal blueprint. And when you got Offset, Cardi, Cameron, Mase, and a whole internet fan base all echoing the same message that Jay Prince got blood on his hands, the label can't save you, the city can't save you, And all those check-ins mean absolutely nothing if your name ends up on that paperwork. And through all this noise, we can't forget what it was really about. Takeoff, the quiet genius of Migos, the one who never chased drama, never clout, never moved sloppy, just bars, family, and vibes. And the fact that his life ended in the middle of a dice night surrounded by people who claimed they loved him, that's the real heartbreak. Prince tried to clean his hands with an Instagram post writing, "Grief is the price of love." But let's be real. Nobody wants to hear poetic quotes when the streets are side-eyeing you for letting chaos unfold on your watch and then walking away like nothing ever happened. The people ain't asking for PR statements, tweets, or cryptic podcast lines. They're demanding real answers, straightforward, no filters, no smoke screens. And that's exactly why what Mase did hit so hard. He didn't just clap back, he ripped the Band-Aid clean off and opened the floodgates. He showed that the fear around J. Prince ain't bulletproof anymore. The armor got cracks in it. Real ones are speaking up, legends are co-signing, and fans are no longer afraid to call out what they see. And if Prince keeps trying to spin the story instead of addressing it, he risks losing it all. His image, his influence, maybe even his empire. From whispers of leaked phone calls, to the feds allegedly listening in closer than ever, to A-list artists ghosting Mob Ty, to witnesses disappearing when it matters most, this saga is far from done. The world is watching every move. And the more Prince snaps, the louder the backlash gets. Prince snapped. Mase clapped back. And now the spotlight is hotter than ever. Drop a comment if you're tuned in, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on them notifications, because what I got lined up next, trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming out our hood next.